If you look east from the delightful, picturesque city of Adelaide, the surrounding Adelaide Hills are friendly and inviting. In between those hills, the valleys provide a soft, gentle climate with ample sun, protection from the wind and just enough water to grow ideal fruit.
Nowhere can you see this more clearly than the Valley of Sant'Antonio, the home of R.Ceravolo's.
The R.Ceravolo family have been growing fruit of outstanding quality in the Val di Sant'Antonio for 3 generations. Today, their produce is ranked as world-class, as the R.Ceravolo family delivers its fresh fruit in shipments to Australian shores for Australians to enjoy and to various overseas markets. Today, the 21st century company of R.Ceravolo Company Proprietary Limited bears testimony to that vision and dedication to quality that created the modern R.Ceravolo enterprise. Now big enough to produce reliable supplies from diverse plantings, yet small enough to keep close control of the growing conditions and finished quality of every piece of fruit, the R.Ceravolo organisation is a case study in care and attention to detail, keeping international standards of quality assurance and making efficient use of the very best of modern technology. To understand today's R.Ceravolo family, we need to look at the whole story, right from the very beginning. Antonio R.Ceravolo first began growing vegetables in Val di Sant'Antonio in 1950. Raphael, his son, joined the business in 1966, and now in company with his sons Antonio and Giuseppe has built a modern, dynamic trading enterprise that puts quality first. The R.Ceravolo emphasis on quality begins even before the trees that will provide R.Ceravolo quality fruit are planted. Constant improvements in the fresh fruit industry mean that the lifespan of a fruit tree might be as little as 7 years. So there is constantly a need for replanting. Before the new trees get close to being planted, the soil has to be just right. To make sure it is, it's left to breathe naturally for a whole year before any new stock is planted. Now that the soil has recovered its natural capacity, the trellising can be installed. R.Ceravolo used the central leader system. The trees grow uniformly. Any variation is carefully managed to be sure that each tree is in optimum condition. With the central leader trellis in place, each tree gets the maximum sunlight right to the heart of the tree. Colour and flavour reach their peak under the influence of the warm sun of the Adelaide Hills, and the quality of the fruit reaches the standard of perfection that the R.Ceravolo family demand. Along with the rich natural soil and the warm sun, water is the other major element that brings R.Ceravolo fruit to its peak. Water at the right time and in the right quantity. The water is applied with numerous methods, one being micro-drip feed. At last, we're ready for the planting itself. Machine planting keeps the tree spacing constant. It ensures consistency from tree to tree, and it lays the foundations for years of maximum cropping at maximum quality. The close planting techniques used by the R.Ceravolo family are recognized throughout the world as producing the best yield in both quantity and quality. Just one of the reasons you can depend on R.Ceravolo for value and taste. Now that the trees are in the ground, R.Ceravolo can apply the latest and most effective techniques of tree management. These techniques range from highly skilled pruning that shapes the tree and opens it so that the summer sun can colour the ripening fruit, to the application of integrated pest management or IPM control measures. These controls keep the fruit clean and pest-free until it's ideal for picking and superb for eating. This careful management of the tree and its precious burden of growing fruit is applied to each variety in a way that's tailored to meet the needs of each particular fruit. For instance, while red apple trees are pruned to be open to the summer sun, cherry trees are not. This care and attention to detail is all part of the R.Ceravolo family dedication to the very best. As the sun completes its work of ripening the fruit, the picking season gets underway. With cherries, it's quite early, beginning in late November. Cherries are a delicate fruit, and they're hand-picked into 5-kilogram buckets, and only later are they transferred carefully into tubs. Immediately they're in the crates, the fresh cherries are watered down and hydrocooled to 0 degrees before they're packed. Now, 0 degrees is low enough to freeze water, but the cherries don't freeze. they stay at their optimum freshness all the way to the supermarket shelf. With apples and pears, it's a different story. Picking begins in February and runs until June. Still picked by hand, as is all R.Ceravolo fruit, these apples and pears are picked into large bags hung around the shoulders of the picker, then collected in bins. To keep them fresh and firm, the bins of apples go straight into a controlled atmosphere storage room, where the temperature of the apples is pulled down to just 1 degree. It takes less than a day to cool 100 bins of fruit in each of these modern cool rooms. For nectarines, the season is shorter, running from December to March. Like apples, they're picked into smaller bags, but because nectarines too are softer fruit, they're also collected in hat bins. So you see, at R.Ceravolo, each variety of fruit is treated in its own special way to make the most of its natural goodness. Before the fruit is ready to leave R.Ceravolo, there's one more important process, and in many ways this is the most important of all: packing the fruit for its journey to the final customer. Here, nothing, absolutely nothing is left to chance. The state-of-the-art grader used at R.Ceravolo looks at the fruit to determine that each piece is the right size, has the right colour, is the correct weight, and is free from blemishes. It even weighs the fruit as many as 250 times a second, reaching an accuracy as fine as 1 gram, before passing it on to a pre-selected packing channel. Export has also been an important part of the industry for decades, and the R.Ceravolo family have been part of the export program as a direct exporter to all Australian and overseas markets. CMS barcoding ensures traceability of every package that leaves R.Ceravolo, and SQF quality certification guarantees quality control procedures are second to none. Therefore, all the fruit leaving R.Ceravolo is outstanding in freshness and quality, and certain to please everyone who tastes it. The continuous cool process makes sure R.Ceravolo fruit is kept in controlled temperature environments all the way from the pickers and packing sheds right up to the supermarket shelf. All the way, it travels through an unbroken chain of approved temperature-controlled storage and transport. But even that is not enough. Early each morning, while the city sleeps, the R.Ceravolo family is on its way to the city market. Why? Because that's the only way the R.Ceravolo family can be sure their fruit is traded right in the temperature-controlled trucks themselves. Delicious fruit from carefully managed trees, brought to you in innovative packaging to international standards of quality and value. Quality fruit, which does not meet stringent requirements for marketing as fresh produce, is processed in a state-of-the-art juicing plant. The apples are washed and inspected before milling into fine pieces, pomace, ready for pressing. The pomace is squeezed in a hydraulic press to extract raw juice. This full-bodied juice can be pasteurized and bottled at this stage, or be ultra-filtered to produce a clear juice ready for packaging. In both cases, the final product is a fresh, natural juice containing no concentrates, preservatives or added sugar, and is intended for local and national markets.
Freshness and superb flavour.
That's the R.Ceravolo story.